Bienvenidos. Welcome another time, another day doing the podcast, Latin Financial Podcast. I wanted to say thank you to everyone. Everybody's been sending me messages. I haven't forgotten about you guys. I'm just, running the two businesses, so I'm always super, super busy.
Super busy.
But you're going to be the first one who knows this. We just relaunched the Sharp Capital podcast. Website. It's gonna be on today, so I'm super excited. It looks so beautiful. It's so. It just wait till you see it.
Wait till you see it.
Wait till you see it. For the clients, it's gonna be so easy to apply, to fill out the application, quick, secure, easy. Upload all the statements, all the required information, and I'm so excited. And if I speak a little different, it's just I have a retainer today, so it's gonna be I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
So welcome to Latin Financial Podcast, and I have somebody super special to me, Miss Rebecca Betancourt. Gracias por venir. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Tenemos que hablar de tantas cosas. Okay. Es Spanglish, so
yes.
Vamos a empezar.
All right.
Vamos para allá. ¿Quién es Rebecca Betancourt? Dime, cuéntame.
That is such a powerful question. So I am a daughter of Jesus Christ. I'm saved, and I thank God for that. I am the daughter of my mom, my parents. They brought me into this world. How lucky am I to be born in Puerto Rico?
Rápido, ¿verdad? Nosotras ahí estamos enfocadas.
Yes, and we migrated over here to Nueva York, right? We went to New Jersey.
How did you work there?
Yeah, so initially they moved to New Jersey, New York, before I finally made it here to Connecticut. And so my roots are here now in Connecticut, born with Puerto Rican traditions, like todo era en español, aquí se habla español. I was in Spanish classes all the way up to like a second grade, and then they put me in bilingual classes all the way up to sixth grade. And then seventh grade, straight up English classes. Whew.
Pero te quedaste con el español, mamita.
Oh my God, no tenía ningún remedio.
Tú, déjame decirte, donde tú quieras que tú te paras, tú lo hablas y me encanta.
Thank you.
Y especialmente cuéntame qué, obviamente puertorriqueña, porque tú eres una de las personas que yo admiro tanto en términos también de how your work ethic, your family, faith, and community. That's something that, those are the few words that comes to my mind when I think of you. So tell me, what do you do right now in terms, tell me a little bit about you.
Yes, definitely. So professionally, I am a licensed professional therapist. So I work with individuals, couples, families, and I specialize in trauma modalities, and personality disorders. And so I am very passionate about doing work in trauma because in our community, whether you grew up in Puerto Rico, whether you grew up wherever you grew up in the States, right? Mm-hmm. Trauma affects us in one way, shape, or another. And for so long, because of the era our parents grew up in, they didn't speak about trauma. It happened, but we don't talk about it, right?
Do you think that is because the Latino, how we were brought up, as a Latino culture?
Yes. Not only as a Latino culture, ¿verdad? Lo que pasa aquí en la casa se queda en la casa, right?
No es business de nadie, nadie se puede enterar.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
But it happens in all the cultures. Mind your business, this isn't about you, right? But they never made it safe because the rule was kids are meant to be seen, not heard. So, palabras de emociones, mira, láigate de aquí con eso. So many of us, especially us, that are, I'm not in my 30s, but those that are in their 30s, those that are in their 40s and 50s, right? They're like, I'm going to tell you how I feel because for so long we weren't allowed to share our feelings. And that is interpreted as trauma, right? So that's the work aspect of me. Community-wise, I volunteer a lot of my time. And so that's part of the reason why I work part-time as a trauma therapist, and I also teach. I think it's so important to start teaching the new community things that I had to learn a la mala or from experience, right? We need to become culturally competent. And if we become culturally competent, we become experts in the field.
Yes.
Right. And we need to see more of us in the field. We need you, right? So that is what I do. So private practice and I teach. Community wise, I'm in two different I'm in the foundation for CT State, the Capital Campus, and we support our students and our community, right where I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, right in the North End.
So needed.
Yes, I'm also an elected official for my town, and I serve in the board
What?
of education.
Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
Congratulations. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my, it's Hartford.
Yeah.
So good, so good. I know that you also, obviously you are a licensed marriage and family therapist. We were talking about it. Tell me about the meaningful journey with Rebecca LLC. By the way, we're gonna do little topics. Vamos a hablar.
So meaningful journeys. I remember I created my business name before I became fully licensed. And I remember sending it to my besties. And I said, what do you guys think about this? And they're like, what's this about? I said, I am just putting it out there into the atmosphere that I'm starting my business, whether I'm licensed or not. Meaningful Journeys with Rebecca. And Meaningful Journeys literally stemmed from, we all have a specific journey to our lives, whether it is a good journey, a bad journey, an unpleasant journey, a chaotic journey, lo que sea. Yeah. My job as a therapist is to help you find meaning to it. So that is literally where Meaningful Journeys with Rebecca came from.
You know that I'm gonna make an appointment to see you. It's been a new offer, and thank you. And another word that comes to mind is, you're an amazing friend. I see you, reaching out when it's needed, and as a person who is going through, because that doesn't go away. That journey, I'm still lost. I'm still, sometimes angry, happy sometimes in terms about, okay, I'm doing this to go forward. And sometimes I even feel bad because I'm like, okay, si me levanto en el día de hoy, estoy contenta, why am I feeling happy? Like you feel that guiltiness.
Immediately. And then our old tradition, y que diga la gente.
Right? Mira, tú sabes que yo veo mucho, I guess the algorithm, for me, it varies like everybody else's. But I do see a lot of, females that they going through the same thing, the loss of the husband or the loved ones. And we have the same thing in common. We always say, que dirá la gente. Es bueno postear algo que uno esté sonriendo. Or, it took me a minute to do my first post. And I remember that it was Ruthie. She came to the house and she's like, I got to take a picture so everybody will know that you're okay. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm going through the emotions. But your messages that were always, thank you. Because I don't know if I did or not, because I don't recall. I'm pretty sure I did. But I just want to make sure that I tell you this. Thank you for that, because, you were always there sending me those messages when I needed the most. So, and you always told me, if you need to talk, and I know that you are a licensed, therapist, so I am going to call you in 2026. I am going to see her for this. But, so let's continue with this, because I don't want to start crying. Mama, esto es positivo.
And if we cry, it's okay. They're happy tears.
They are.
Joyful tears.
There you go. So let's talking about it right now. Mental health in the Latino, and like you mentioned, in all the backgrounds in household. What do you think that the stigma for the therapy in our community is?
The biggest stigma that is known for in the Latino community is el que va para terapia es loco. That's the biggest stigma.
So true.
Right? If you go to therapy, you're crazy. Listen, let's break that stigma. Help me break that stigma. If you go to therapy, you're not crazy. Terapia no es solamente para las personas que tienen locuras, ¿verdad? Terapia es para las personas que tienen que hacer una decisión. You got to make a decision. Let's go talk about it. I don't tell you what to do. I listen to you. I hear the choices you got, and I challenge you, right? I challenge you because If I do the work for you, you're going to become dependent on me. And legally, ethically, I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what is your heart telling you to do? And why does that make sense? Why doesn't it make sense? And this is the type of dialogue that you have in therapy. That doesn't sound like a crazy person's conversation, right? And don't get me wrong, mental health, there are people that suffer from psychosis, psychotic breakdowns. That is a true story. However, their therapy is more intense than that person that goes for outpatient therapy once a week, once a month, twice a month, lo que sea, however many times you need to go just to desahogarte, whatever it is that you have that's so heavy in your chest, go have it. And guess what? The thing about a therapist is that they're not emotionally connected to you. So I'll have some referrals for you. And because they are not emotionally connected to you, they could call you out. Your friends will be like, ay, tú estás bien, no te preocupes.
I know, they tend to say that.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Yeah.
And an emotion and a therapist that does not have any type of an emotional connection to you would be like, I understand why you're struggling with this thought or this decision. Let's process it together.
I love that.
Mhm.
Do you think that nowadays, the news, social media, there's so many things happening. Mental health, I see it every day more and more in terms
Mhm.
about us spoken, the stick, obviously we used to talk about it like quietly over here.
Mhm.
Now in the news, obviously we need more people to do what you do, help the community, help the individuals. But look at the news, what happened recently with that young,
Yeah.
I call it young because it's still, but it happened so quick, and it's all over the news, and it's been all over the news. They don't talk about it.
Exactly.
But okay, so
That's definitely difficult.
definitely, and especially because the videos, they are there. One thing is people talk about it in the news, and seeing a video so raw, it's intense.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But
And speaking about raw, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
no.
you there. Seeing a video so raw that our brain, the main function of our brain is to keep your body functioning, right? And so your body functions normally every day, and then you see a threat, your brain is going to say, do I fight? Do I flight? Or do I freeze, right? And new research are saying, do I fawn, right? So fawn is another dangerous deer, but I don't care, right? Like a fawn, you want a little baby deer, lo que sea, right? Fight, you putting your hands up, you're fighting, you're defending. Freeze, or you flee, right? And so when we're looking at the raw footage that we have seen on TV, we see so many people in the middle of their nervous system activating. Can you imagine that, right? Their nervous system is all activating. Do I fight? Do I flee? Right?
And at that moment,
It's a second, like a fraction of a second when you're making this decision. And so in that raw clippage that has been shared, I can only imagine what all of these people that witnessed it, the amount of trauma that it triggered, the amount of people that lived through it, that pulled the trigger. It's just so much to unpack there. That's going to need a whole nother podcast.
Absolutely. No, and I'm going to be watching you. Let's talk about that podcast, because you have the podcast with your husband. How that started? Because it is, you guys talk about everything.
Yes.
And that's what I like. It's not, only this, or you center in a little bit of everything. And your chemistry, obviously, it shows, and it's phenomenal. I just saw your girl, Delilah, the other day, que pasó y parece que estaba enferma, y ella, I love this people. It's incredible. So tell me a little bit about it.
So Raw and Real with Ralphie and Rebecca. No. Roll that R.
Oh my goodness. I love that.
Raw and Real with Ralphie and Rebecca literally stems from Ralphie and I we have a blended family. So it's his, hers, and then ours, right? So when you think about the dynamics of things that happen in our family, right? Is I'm co-parenting over here with the kids' dad. He's co-parenting over here with the kids' mom. We're a couple, so we got our own parenting. We're negotiating negotiating all of this, right? And then when people see us, they're like, "Oh my gosh, your family is so wonderful," but you do not understand the chaos that happens.
Nobody knows in the back.
Yes, right. And one of the things that we do frequently is that we share that out loud, so that not only do you see some of our strengths, you also see some of our weaknesses. So we have our flaws, but there's joy in our flaws because we learn from it, we grow from it. So Delilah gets to have it all. She's like, I get to see this over here and I get to see that over there. And we were like, let's turn it into a podcast.
You started the podcast, talking about faith, right? And that's what I like, because you started talking about it, and even though you still talk about it, but it was different, because it caught my eye. It was like, okay, somebody talking about, it's like another taboo, religion. People, they don't talk about it, but they talk about it.
Yeah.
So how long ago you had the podcast so far?
So
Ralphie
started it, Savory Scriptures with Jeffrey, right? With Jeffrey. And he breaks down the word through his lens, right? And then he said we should do it raw and real, because we've had raw and real before, but this time we are going to use it, and how the faith, our relationship with God, really helps us through our struggles. Because carnally, see, if it's me carnally, touch them, I would have been putting my hair. I probably will be having fights with my kids. But because we have always hold on to the mantle of God, Lord, please don't let me go. I just need a little bit. To get me through this. We wanted to start sharing that with everyone, and that's where Raw and Real shows up.
I see you guys, obviously, I checked earlier today, the YouTube. I see you like nationally, doing this, because it caught my eye even more. I'm like, why I haven't, okay. But anyway, let's keep on talking about, you have a lot of projects that we, obviously you just came in a couple of minutes ago. You were interviewed. Tell me about your new role as an actress, because, all this information, I'm going to tag Rebecca, and you guys can purchase tickets and obviously follow her, in all social media. And pretty much we know the same people, but the new people, obviously, I want them to hear this.
Yes, definitely. So I am afraid, but I'm still doing it. And one of the things is you could be afraid and still do it.
Yes.
Feel the fear, but also feel the excitement. And two feelings can coexist, people. Two feelings can coexist. Sometimes we are waiting just to feel a certain type of way. Two feelings are valid, and you can still do the thing. The thing. So I said yes to acting, and initially I thought it was a reading, because last year we did the reading, and she's like, no, it got picked up and we're performing.
This is amazing.
And I'm like, wait, I gotta memorize things.
So what is the name? Tell us.
So the name of the play is Lo Cotidiano, which translates to the everyday thing, right? The everyday talk, the everyday that we are going through. There's 5 actresses, and we're all Latina. Right?
I'm not going to miss this for anything. This I've got to see and support.
Yes. And they're actually stories from Latina women in Hartford. So they interview, I want to say there's 12 Latinas that they interviewed. And Sin Martinez, she is the playwright and the director of the play. You hear all these Latino names here?
No, in different, industries, as a writer, oh my goodness, I love this.
Yes. So she looked at all of the videos, all of the oral interviews, and she turned it into the play. And so every single one of these 12 interviewees that were interviewed to gather data from the Latina women in Hartford are portrayed in one way, shape, or form in one of these actresses' roles. So I play the role of Raquel, and I am the auntie and the cousin, right? So, and I was born a truth seeker. I challenge you, no tengo pelos en la lengua, te lo digo así, right through.
Pero a mí me gustó porque tú eres así, tú lo dices, you express yourself, clear.
Yes.
So wait a minute. So ¿Desde cuándo te estaba picando la actress? Porque eso como que, your personality is beautiful.
Thank
so
you.
how you just
I
always wanted to do it?
I feel like since I was a young kid, I've always wanted to do actress. But as a kid, I didn't see people like me on TV. All of the models were like this, right? They were very thin. All of the caballeros were really thin. And I struggled. I struggled because I did not see myself in that role. And so it was one of those things that I was very passionately about, pero I had to move it to the back of the table, to the back of the stove, whatever, to the back burner, however it is that you speak the lingo. I had to move it to the back because my image did not fit that, which I believe was in my head.
That's it happens. I think that I like the past 10 years easily. This group of women in Connecticut has been relentless, como que nos tiramos, hacemos cosas, we support each other, and we still need more, obviously.
Yes.
But I am so happy that you're doing this,
Thank you.
And this is gonna be, me imagino, las puertas que se van a abrir para ti también, haciendo una cosa así. So you did it last year?
No, last year it was a reading. We read it, and the ladies that were interviewed, they were there and they were listening, trying to figure out which role has their interview, their stories, their lived experiences. And I received feedback from a few of them. They're like, oh my goodness, you did so well. You spoke, you gave life to my lived experiences. So they were very appreciative of that. So when I was able to get that phone call from Sin, like, hey, we're rolling.
Oh my goodness.
We're going into production. It was like, what?
So when this is going to be and where? Because
yes. So it is Saturday, March 28th at the theater in Watkinson. Yes, which is in Hartford. So the ladies interviewed were from Hartford. The actresses, they literally resonated in one way, shape, or form in Hartford. And the play is in Hartford.
I love that, giving back to the community. That is powerful. And I'm sorry, I can't wait when the link is going to come out with.
The link is out. I'll share it with you. Charter Oak Cultural Center. You could go over there, Lo Cotidiano. You'll see the links there. The tickets are $20. That is a donation because this is a nonprofit organization that literally picks up a lot of the costs, right? So your donation is
a nonprofit, and this economy, things are not great. Anything else that you may wanted to say? And obviously, when I created this space, I just want to showcase what the person is doing, the guest is doing, So to those who are watching, y lo tienes que decir en español, ahí es cuando te tienes que botar el español. ¿Qué advices tú le puedes dar a mujeres, hombres que estén escuchando que a veces no se atreven a hacer las cosas, or anything in particular that you wanted to share with others right now?
Yeah, definitely. And so I feel like I'm going to be amplifying a little bit of something that I've had in my back pocket for quite some time. So about 2 years ago, I started the movement, and it's the Stand in Your Power movement. Right? The Stand in Your Power movement was literally about amplifying the voices of bilingual speaking clinicians. That was my initial mindset. However, as I started doing more and more speaking engagements, more people were reaching out to me saying, like, can you help me with this? Can you consult over here? And I noticed, like, listen, I don't have to just leave it there just for the bilingual clinicians. I am going to spread this out because your voice is powerful. Your story is powerful. And it's actually a story that needs to be told so that someone else could hear about it. They could see themselves in that story and say, wow, that was once upon a time, that was me. And if she can do it, I can do it too. If he can do it, I can do it too. And so I started the book. I started writing the book.
Es que tú eres una mujer de mucha. We could be here all day talking about your background. So, pero tú eres a writer, going to be an actress, therapist, an amazing friend, and I gotta keep on going. Tell me about that because I didn't know about the book. Hold on.
Yes.
Well, I knew, but I wanted you to share.
Yes. I actually am a contributing actor in a scholarly encyclopedia, pretty much, where I wrote a chapter book with other scholars, other Black and Brown scholars, about their experiences as an adjunct, as a professor. And that gave me the bug, right? I was like, wow, if I am writing for this book, it's just a chapter, why not write my own story, right? Why not? And so I took care of that. Final draft is in this editing stages, getting graphic design. We go on tour this summer. I can't wait to tell you more about that.
Can you share the name? No, you don't have to, but if you wanna, share with us.
I will get clarification on it because it's going in design right now, and I don't know, it might change, right? And so that motivated me to start my book. So my book is Stand in Your Power. So it's my movement, but I turned it into a book. And it's actually the tagline to is mentioned, oh, you met that part of Becky, right? You mentioned so many different parts of me, and all of these parts make me who I am. Right. And so there is about 12 chapters. You'll meet the Becky that had to deal with betrayal, and how did that show up in my relationships. You met Becky that dealt with grief, and how did that show up in my relationship. You met the Becky that was diagnosed with cancer, and how did I deal with that? I mean, thankfully I'm here. Right?
Amen.
Thankfully I am here, but there are so many people that were not able to make it. And when somebody tells you you have a 60-40 chance survival, listen, it was me holding on to that mantle, right? Holding on to that mantle, like at the thought of even leaving my 2 kids without a mother, how much trauma that will cause. I was already a therapist back then. I just didn't know it, right? And so every chapter speaks to it. The angry Becky, my letter to God, right? Everything that a person could possibly go through, miscarriage, grief, intimate partner violence, right? I've experienced so many things in my life, and I pour it out into that book. And my hope is that there is a part in there that you must have been impacted by, resonate with in one way, shape, or another, and that it helps you, right? Even though your journey is going to look different than mine, that it will help you.
It's amazing because for me, looking out at your life, since I met you, it's like you blast. I mean, you were always there. It's like you becoming your full serve self. Like es como una butterfly, because cuando yo te conocí, I knew of you, pero tú has crecido y me alegra que tú estés haciendo tantas cosas porque you are good at it, and maybe you didn't know at the time, but you just needed one little thing, one little opportunity,
one little one,
and that you are an amazing speaker. Every time I see you in platforms, it's like, oh my goodness, where were you? You were there, but so I am so proud of you, and thank you for sharing who you are with everybody else, because we need people like you, in our lives, in our circle, and building what you're doing right now. So but anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. But final and not least, you got to say something like a saying para las personas ahí. ¿Qué tú puedes decirles?
What words am I going to leave you with? Listen, every single one of you, whether you are watching live, thank you for joining, or whether you are watching the recording, the power is in you, right? So many of us are sitting in our powers, and you need to be willing to take a risk, even if you do it afraid, and stand in your power. Your voice, your story, your truth needs to be shared. So why not share it with the entire world?
Oh my goodness, me dio escalofrío a ustedes también porque están ahí, yo los veo. Oh my goodness. Gracias Rebecca, de verdad. Te lo agradezco. Estaba loca por pasar un ratito contigo, pero aquí lo hicimos. Thank you everybody for being and watching and share her story and get connected. You know, you need the services, you need somebody to talk to. You know, I'm gonna tag her, you know, reach out to her. And in speaking engagements, reach out to her because she's there for the community. She can actually help in a lot of different ways. And that's what we're here for.
Yes.
So, gracias por venir.
Thank you.
Gracias. Nos vemos.
Nos vemos.
Happy Friday también.
Yes, happy Friday.